Good morning, this is Jim Distortion doing a daily short with Lilly, my dog, at my house. I wanted to talk to you today about why people are suddenly starting to think that all the kids have gone wild in this country, and why possibly looking into the behavioural traits of the kids today, the millennials I think they call them. You know, if you take away consequences of actions to anybody, then all of a sudden they're going to be in a position where there are no ties, there are no rules, and they can do whatever they want. And kids now, teenagers now know that there are no consequences to their actions. Obviously, if they go too far, they'll get arrested. They might go to juvenile hall, Borstal. But the likelihood is they'll just get told off and the parents will be looked at about it. And quite rightly, it is down to parents to do that. But then, how much power has been removed from parents lately? Obviously you can't hit your children, and I'm not suggesting that's a good thing to do. But you can remonstrate with them. You can make sure that they understand there are laws and rules that they have to follow. I have a 4-year-old son, so I haven't run into any trouble yet, but he knows right from wrong. He knows when he's done wrong and he's pushing it. That's it. But also, a long time ago, they stopped corporal punishment in schools. So they stopped the cane and they stopped hitting. I got caned a lot when I was at school. And to be honest, I found the whole thing quite funny. Some guy at Heath Mount Preparatory School, he hit me with a slipper. What? A slipper? Right, and it was a slipper as well. It wasn't like it was almost like a brown, fluffy slipper, and he hit me with it, and I'm supposed to care about that. I think that was more about him wanting to see my bottom than the slippers themselves. But, I have to keep those kind of things to myself. Right, so they took away all that. Now, teachers can't remonstrate with kids. If they have a full-on face-off argument, the teachers will then be brought under review. How is that a tenable situation? How, when you have a classroom full of unruly kids that you have no control over, how are you supposed to keep them in line? And I have admiration for teachers. I never used to, right? My father's a teacher, as well as being a vicar and, a chaplain at school. But, he used to keep the classrooms focused by actually, having a subject that people enjoyed to listen to. History's all about stories, and I bought into that. I wasn't too much trouble for him in his class, I don't think. At the end of the day, if you take away everyone's power, what do you expect? So, on one hand, you have all the liberals going, well, yes, we've got to take away power from the teachers. They can't be telling our kids what to do. And then you wonder why all the kids do exactly what they want. They don't focus on their schoolwork. They're getting into trouble. There is a big focus around here about, there's a park in Hoddesdon where the kids go, all the younger kids getting bullied, they're having their bikes stolen and all of that. Well, do you know why that is? Because no one's gone down to the bullies and said, all right, big boy, you want it? Let's have it. You argue with me. But you can't do that. You can't go having fist fights with kids, right? But the point being, there is nothing anyone does about these situations. So the police will turn up, take the kids home, tell them off, and then the parents themselves, won't they, Lily? The parents are the ones then that get into trouble, not the kids. So the point in that, I can see the thinking behind that. You get the parents in trouble, they will bring the kids into line. The only trouble is by the time that happens, it's too late. The children already have no limits. The children already do exactly what they want, and they know they won't get into trouble, their parents will. And, sadly to say it, all respect for the parents are lost anyway, so they don't care whether they give them grief. They'll regret it later on in life, but, hindsight's 20/20. So, when you're in school, and nowadays, I noticed, right, my son's 4, so I've seen a few things of this. When you have a sports day, there are no winners and no losers, right? His school doesn't do that. His school, they have winners and losers still. And I'll tell you why that's amazing. Because you give a ribbon to everyone for taking part, right? There are 2 things wrong with this. One, what's the point in taking part? Yeah, why even turn up? You're going to get a ribbon, whatever's going to happen, just for being in the same field. Yeah, secondly, if nobody wins and nobody loses, how do you understand competition later in life? How do you understand that when you get a job, and you are told by your boss that you have targets, limits, what you have to do. If you don't achieve this, then you're going to be in trouble. And being in trouble in the real world means you get fired, which means you get no money, which you don't pay your rent, it means you become homeless. Yeah, there is no state anymore. I don't even know what the dole is anymore. Some kind of credit, right? But when it's seen as the government giving you credit rather than the social system taking care of you, then there's a whole subject there that makes my blood boil. I've never been on dole. I had sickness pay for a while because I had that kidney failure business, but then that came from a job, so that's fine. But you take away the winning and losing, you take away the arguments, you take away the fact that someone will come out on top. Your children, when they get jobs, will not understand that, and then their boss fires them because they haven't achieved anything. They're expecting to be patted on the back saying, oh, well done, you've joined in with what we asked. No, that's no good enough. You start your own business, put yourself out there as an entrepreneur, and you go, oh, well, I'm in the game, someone should give me a ribbon. No, what they'll do is you'll go bust because you're not in a fighting spirit. You don't know how to be forceful. So, then what do? You end up on the scrap heap. So you take away the learning cycles of children where there are cause and effect, there are consequences to your actions, then they've got no frame of reference. How is anyone supposed to progress past the level where all inclusivity works? Well, it doesn't work. Inclusivity, giving everyone a ribbon for taking part, that's great. And I understand the sentiment behind it. You don't want children to feel bad about themselves because they didn't win. But what you also don't want to do is adults feeling bad about themselves in such a way that they lose their homes, homelessness and all of that. You've got to remember that everything that happens earlier in life shapes the end result. So for all the people baying for the parents to be this and it's the parents' result, yeah, it is. But those parents need to have tools to be able to control their kids and be backed up by schools, not make the parent the enemy, which is more and more what's happening. School and church, hold on, that's different. School and home should be linked. With Samuel, he gets his book, he comes back, he does his writing at home with his mother and me sometimes when he comes in, and he knows that he has to learn and progress. They have winners and losers in school, and he knows that, and he wants to be a winner. He wants to strive to be that, and he's not always the best of kids. He will muck about, but they all should, because by that, then you have some limits to give them. I think what I'm basically saying is that now society is taking away the real power from the real people and trying to blame the parents when actually society has done it for them. They've taken away their powers. They've taken away their ability to chastise their children. Chastise. Blimey, can't speak today. If you have a society where all children are brought up to think all is equal, you can never have a society that functions. It's that simple. Right. From Lilly and me, I'd just like to say thank you to everyone who's subscribing and watching these videos. If you want to continue getting them, then please hit the subscribe button, which is here, and follow the next video, which is up here. All right, you take care. I'll speak to you soon.